Hello? 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 Hello, hello, hello. Good morning to you. Okay. I love that Instagram says they're telling my followers that I'm here. I'm here. Ooh. Okay. I haven't even taken a sip of coffee yet today. I want to tell you a story while I get this. Hi, Book of Andrea. Sorry, I'm just getting situated. Okay. I think it's working. And I don't know what this is going to look like on Facebook and YouTube because I'm trying a different layout. Good morning. Happy New Year. Shoot. I should have had confetti. Darn it. I knew I was missing something. My first sip of coffee of the day. All right, we'll leave that close. Okay. Well, good morning and Happy New Year. I would love to hear if anybody did anything fun on the new year. I will tell you a little story about my new year in a little bit. Good morning. Good morning. Book of Andrea, do I know you? I don't know. You could be a client. I have no idea with all these Instagram names. All right. Good morning. I'm just, getting ready, putting a little lotion on, having my coffee while people are coming on. I have been starting during this holiday season, and I have a feeling this will be my last time doing it, but just thanking the people who thought of me and sent me these beautiful cards. I have this big stack, and it makes me feel so good. Oh, I'm a client, but I've never met you personally. Well, hello. Nice to meet you. And I'm so glad that you're part of our community. So welcome if you are new, but I don't know based on, yeah. Okay, so I got this adorable card with Henry on it. And so cute. So cute, Henry. All right, I got that one. I got from the Nishihara family, Andrew, Ashley, and Brennan. So sweet. Thank you so much. And then they wrote about their whole year. And from one of my agencies in Chicago, who I actually had my home study with, and many of my families do, Adoption Center of Illinois. And my people said, we love RG. Thank you, Molly and Teresa. I love you guys too. So sweet. And then from the Coors family, they sent me a sweet card as well. So there we have it. I think that's a wrap on the holiday season of cards. I love it. And Book of Andrea, maybe I'll get a card from you next year. Let's hope. So I just want to give you a little bit of a day in the life of RG Adoption Consulting. Once upon a time in 2023, at 11:20 p.m. on December 31st, New Year's Eve, as I'm sitting at a party that I invited myself to because, I just wanted to be somewhere because my son had plans. I happened to check my email. Why? I must have been a little bored or something. I don't know. But I think I always, in my mind, know that people can have babies anytime, right? So I just want to make sure everything is kosher. So check my emails, and lo and behold, there's an email at 11:20, New Year's Eve, from an agency saying there was a baby born. Do you happen to have any Black families? Well, yes, I do. But really, we need to do this at 11:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve? We never stop. So I texted the director of the agency. That's not who I got the email from, but I texted and I said, so are you really looking for a family right now, or can this wait till tomorrow? And her answer to me was, it's your choice. And I said, I have families that I believe would be interested. And she said, it's your choice. And I know what that means. That means if she finds other families first, she's going to present them. And so I need to go to bat for my families. So I came home from the party, which was fine. I was ready to anyways. Let's be real. I'm usually fast asleep by midnight. But actually, thanks to this agency, I worked and then I had a party for one. I watched the ball drop and I danced in my room. I even had a video to show it to Mama's Gonna Knock You Out. And I'm dancing. Anyways, so I go on to pull up my website and open my computer. And sure enough, I sent out an email to my 4 families that fit the description. But I also texted them and CC'd their, and also messaged their consultants because I didn't think anyone would be checking their emails like I do. And I surely didn't expect my team to be working on New Year's Eve. At this point, it was like 11:40. So 20 minutes before midnight. That was a record, by the way. That probably the latest I've worked. I've worked late before, but so I texted the 4 families with their consultants, and my team is amazing. Just shout out to them because both of my consultants started working too and started talking to their families about it and helping them get their stuff in. Their profiles were in like probably at 11:50 p.m. And, I was still texting people at 12:25. And the next morning at 10 a.m., I found out that Mama wanted to talk to one of our families. And yesterday, the adoption went through, and my client has their baby in their arms. But the cool part about this, and stories like this happen all the time. I'm going to tell their story, but I'm not obviously saying their names, so I don't think I'm saying anything out of context here. But here's the awesome story about it. And this stuff happens all the time in adoption. They were matched for a few months, and Mama was due and changed her mind at the last minute. And they were out a lot of money. And they didn't think that they could move on again. Let me take a sip. Second sip of the morning. They didn't think they could move on. And I was trying to help them with grants. And they said they already applied. They didn't get it. And then evidently they got a call back from the attorney that they were matched with saying, Mama's struggling. She wants to make a plan. Now she wants to place. She has changed her mind again. Can you fly out? So they got on a plane, and this was on the 30th. Okay. They got on a plane. They flew to where Mama was, a different state than they lived in. They got there. Mama changed her mind again. So now they have flown, and it's the day before, it's pretty much New Year's Eve. And they just learned that she changed her mind again. It was New Year's Eve. And then they got this situation from me. 4 families were presented, but they were chosen. And now they're parents. 2 days ago, they would not have even imagined that could have happened. But that kind of thing happens all the time. I have stories upon stories upon stories. In 2023, I think very early on in the year, we hit 300 adoptions. So we've got to be closer to 400 at this point, but I'll know the number on Tuesday when we have our stats meeting. But I'm really, so I was really excited. There's nothing better than having the last match of New Year's Eve, of one year, and then the first match and adoption of the next. So I love starting out strong, and I hope that means we're going to have a strong year. I think it does. All right, a couple things I wanted to just discuss as we do every week, this week in adoption. And for some reason on Facebook, it always says a masterclass. I don't know, it's from something else that I did, and I have to go in and change it every time. I'm not sure why, but I want to talk about a few things, 3 things. One is religion in profiles. And these are 3 things that played out. The adoption world is a very faith-based world. All faiths adopt, of course, but there are a lot of faith-based agencies, and I'm going to guess that most birth moms are Catholic or Christian or something in that arena. And a lot of times they'll ask for a family with the same faith. Not always. And when they don't, a lot of times they just want to see that a family has faith or is spiritual or believes in something and maybe doesn't care as much about religion. I'm Jewish, by the way. And when I adopted, I was told not to put that into my profile. And I had a problem with it, but I obliged. Obviously, I got picked. And when I got picked, I said, she's got to know I'm Jewish before we go through with this. And she did. And I think I mentioned it somewhere in the profile, but very understated. And she was fine with it. It didn't matter to her. And to this day, I don't fully believe that my son's birth parents understand that we don't celebrate Christmas or what Judaism is. That's fine. They respect, they embrace, they're fine with it. My point is, not everybody knows about all different religions. You should never hide who you are or what your religion is. That is not at all what I'm saying. And sometimes if somebody is Catholic or Christian or one of those, denominations, and it's a very important piece of them, it's okay if they lead with it. I never want to be too in-your-face religion in any profile. It can turn somebody away because they might make a story around who you are. Maybe they've had a bad experience. You just never know. So you never want to be too in your face with your religion in your profile. That said, never hide it. And if faith is important to you, I would put, faith and family and travel or friends or whatever are things that we value most in our lives. And then show some of your traditions without talking about, your temple in Judaism and your belief in God or Shabbat, and using words like Shabbat, or your faith in Jesus Christ, or your, I can think of a lot of different examples. Nothing's coming to me right now. And I know this is a really touchy subject. I'm hoping that you're understanding what I'm saying. So I had a Jewish family, and on one of the pages, the first word was Judaism. And then it talked about involvement in their temple and celebrating Shabbat. And remember, I'm Jewish. And I think they had gotten some feedback from an agency that they really were offended by or took the wrong way. I don't know what it was. But I looked at their profile and I agreed. So I talked to them and I said, listen, I know that that was offensive. I was told to leave it out altogether, and I don't believe you should. But I also believe there's a way to talk about religion that doesn't make it the forefront of who you are and what you do and what you believe in, especially if somebody doesn't understand or know your religion that's reading it. Because you are open to adopting anyone of any faith and working with a birth mom of any faith. And you want to relay your beliefs in a way that will be understood correctly. So I had them use the word faith, and then on that page talk about every Friday night we get together with our family for a Sabbath dinner or something like that, or we light the Hanukkah candles, we light the menorah on Hanukkah for 8 days of Hanukkah or something like that. Show a couple of the traditions without being so, we go to our temple every Friday night, we're involved, we're on the board, we do Shabbat, we don't drive on the Sabbath, all the things. You don't need to explain all the things that go into your beliefs within that profile while still talking about who you are. Does this make sense to you, or is this coming off offensive? I'm just curious how this is coming off, because oftentimes I say things that I don't intend. So can you just tell me how this is coming off? Does that make sense to you? Do you understand that concept? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Book of Andrea. Anyone else? Okay. Makes sense to me. Thank you, Krista. I appreciate it. So we are Jewish too, and I've been thinking about it a lot. Okay, good. Awesome. So that's the way I would handle it. And your consultant should be able to help and guide you, but I'm also happy. Tell your consultant that I'm happy to look at it, that I said so on a live. Okay, so that's one thing about religion. So not too forward in your face with any religion, but don't hide behind it either. Talk about what's important to you. So I know for me, like, I made sure when I talked about religion that the people in my, if you're Jewish, you'll know what I'm talking about, didn't have yarmulkes on their head. Because chances are the person looking at it is not going to know what that is and may be like, ooh, what is that? So I just made sure in the pictures that wasn't there. And that's okay. I don't, my family doesn't wear yarmulkes every single day. Some families might, and that's okay. And you can explain it in a way that's not so in your face. All right, so that's religion and profiles. I want to talk a little bit about mindset and having hope. Mindset is something that is so important throughout your adoption journey, frankly, throughout life, but especially as you're going through this journey. And what do I mean? I'm just going to touch upon it. We put a mindset piece within every step of our adoption roadmap, which is the model we walk people through. And I'm going to venture to guess that 90% of the people skip it. You can really, I'm going to swear, you can really fuck things up for yourself by standing in your own way and being negative. Because the energy that you put out into your journey or into anything, and trust me, I need to remind myself of that too. One of the people on my team bought me this journal called Mind Logi, Increase Happiness and Success. And I'm going to really try to get back to journaling. I used to do it every day, but it's a good practice. You can get in your own way. Most people, when they come into the world of adoption, have already struggled a lot. Maybe you've had miscarriages. Maybe you've done 36 IUIs like I did. 36, 26, I lose track of the number now. But maybe you did 3 rounds of IVF. Oh my God, on one screen I have fireworks going on behind me now too. I don't know what hand movements I do to make these things happen. And the point is, you may walk into this to adoption thinking, fine, I'll do this. This is the last chance I have. I don't think it's going to work, but I guess. Or they're telling me to go get new pictures. I have plenty of pictures. What's wrong with the ones I have? You can really go down this negative rabbit hole instead of saying, I'm working with experts. They've seen hundreds of people get adopted. They know what works, what doesn't. I'm going to listen to them. You're telling me to do this? Great. I believe this is going to happen for me. I know this is not going to be an easy journey. There's going to be roller coasters, ups and downs. And I'm still going to believe that this will happen to me when it's supposed to. Let me take it a step further. Being happy for other people that get matched or adopt while you're still waiting. Instead of feeling like, well, it wasn't me, good for them, I invite you to look at that and say, wow, they've been on their journey like I've been on mine. I'm so excited that it's happening for them. That means it can happen for us too, and it will when the time is right. The energy that you are putting out there reflects back on you. I know how woo-woo that might sound to people who don't believe in this shit. Number one, I could tell you stories about how it's scientifically proven and all of that, but it has worked for me too, wonders. But it is a muscle that you have to practice for sure. I had a client that I'm thinking of that was on a very long journey. She's a mom now. But every single time we posted another match and another adoption, she was the first one to comment, so excited for you, congratulations. And she meant it, right? It wasn't just going through the motions. She could feel the joy for them. She could put herself in their shoes. And I know that's not easy to do. But instead of feeling like, why is it happening to everybody else and not me? Try on, wow, it happened for them. It happened for another person. I'm one step closer. We all have to go through a certain amount of no's and rejection before our yes, before our success. In everything in life. It's very rare that something happens that you really want that bad the very first time you try it, right? You may have to present 40 times, like the client that just signed up with us because they were working with another consultant. They were signed up with other agencies. They wanted to expand their reach. They weren't sure if they should sign up with us or not, but they decided, you know what? We need to do something different. And I'm not saying anything about the other consultant. They were on the right path. Frankly, they could have chosen not to, and I understand, but for the past 2 years, they've been going through this and doing all the right things, but it wasn't happening. So they shifted the energy, they did something new, and a month later, they have their baby in their hands with an agency they were already signed up with. Now, they could say, ugh, I just wasted my money. Or the way I look at it and the way I've seen it happen so many times before is, wow, you needed to do something drastic to shift your energy. And as soon as you did, it did something to your mindset and it happened. And the good thing is you didn't have to spend even more money signing up with more agencies or doing something other than with the places you were already at, but the energy around you needed to shift. I've seen that with people changing up their profiles, adding a new service, signing up with a new agency, shifting what isn't working. I talk to my son about that all the time. I wish his 12-year-old brain would understand that, but that's another story. So do yourself a favor. Don't get in your own way. Try to stay in a positive space. And I am not saying you're not going to have bad days, hard times, and go into that woe is me spot. We all do it. Allow yourself some time to feel it, acknowledge it, and what I like to say is then thank it and say, I have no use for you anymore. Thank you for wanting to protect me. Thank you for letting me feel the feels. I have no use for you anymore. Bye-bye. I can't wait for my turn because it's coming. I just, put another rejection under my belt. I'm one step closer. And look at this family. Good for them. They've probably had their own suffering. I should start calling this my weekly soapbox because I know I get on soapboxes probably like every second live or something. But all right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you to everybody who sent me those beautiful cards. I love looking at that big stack and going through and seeing pictures of all the babies and hopeful parents and friends. Happy holidays. I hope you're off to a wonderful 2024 as we have been at RG Adoption Consulting. I think we ended with 83 or 84 families who adopted, which is incredible. Most agencies don't even come close to that. They're lucky if they get half of that. So I am thrilled with that. Keep in mind religion in your profiles and how you kind of handle that without it being in your face, but without hiding behind it. Have hope and be in the right positive mindset throughout your journey, wherever you are. And if you veer off your roadmap for a minute, for a week, that's okay. Get right back on. Put your blinders on. Move forward. Have a great rest of your week and a good weekend. Bye-bye. Happy New Year.